Welcome back to Fierce Entertainment. Now, I have seen just about every really good horror film of 2023. Literally. I have seen just about every really good horror film of 2023. And there's one I do have to watch that I haven't seen, which I will be watching obviously tomorrow. I'm going to do both a return to, but also kind of a brand new on two of them. I'm only going to be doing three of them. I'm not going to be doing all 5 Insidious films, but obviously the one I haven't seen is Insidious: The Red Room. That's the only one I haven't seen. Because, well, technically there's 2. There's Insidious: The Red Room, and then there's The Last Voyage of the Demeter. But The Last Voyage of the Demeter has had very bad reviews to the point that I'm not quite sure if I can even consider it a candidate for what I consider this film we're about to talk about is a candidate for the very best horror film of the entire year. And that is 2023's Smile. Now, I originally bought this in 2K and got rid of it. And all I can say is, this is right here is the only way to watch the movie in 4K. Now this thing I have a problem that Universal and Lionsgate and Neon Pictures are having. At the time I just couldn't find a 4K copy of the film, and I didn't want to wait. I wanted to watch the physical version of the film right there. So yeah, for a little while I owned both the 2K version in this version. Alright, well, Smile is the scariest fucking movie of the year in my opinion. It really is that elevated. Alright, like I said, to make things faster, because I'll be honest, reading the back of the snap case is actually a lot faster, so let's just go about this. After witnessing a bizarre, traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Coder, Susie Bacon, starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. As an overwhelming terror begins taking over her life, Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. Alright. Well, that doesn't really say much. So I guess reading the back of this really wasn't really all that fruitful. So let's go ahead and say it in a much more direct context. For the past about 2 decades, there's been a series of bizarre murders in which the victims have committed suicide while appearing under what appears to be some sort of traumatic state, in which basically they're doing this. And that's after something happens to them that froze them into this trance-like state to where they kill themselves. And it happens after a conflict of rage, and terrifying rage. I mean, literally, they are terrified out of their life because they believe that there's some sort of supernatural force that is completely pursuing them. And eventually, after they are consumed by this supernatural force, they eventually basically do this. And then they kill themselves. And they kill themselves in any way that is terrifying. And the reason why is because once they do that, they always have to make sure that there's someone around to see it. And they basically kill themselves in the most terrifying way imaginable, so they can terrorize whoever's around looking at it, so that whatever was pursuing them, terrifying them, will consume, and obviously consume them, will obviously terrify that individual. And then it kind of starts this chain. It starts this chain to where a person gets consumed by supernatural, demonic entity of some kind, and then they in a terrifying way, they kill themselves while another person's watching, so that that terrifying demonic entity can go ahead and do the same thing to that individual, and it goes on a complete, repeat. And it basically happens to this psychiatrist, and then this evil force pursues her. And this is the other film I was mentioning in previous nights of reviewing movies recently, to where our main character meets a horrifying end. Because despite how hard she fought to get rid of this evil force that's pursuing her, the evil force does indeed consume her, and we see how that happens, and boy is it freaking terrifying how this evil consumes her. It literally goes into her body and literally consumes her and takes over everything. And the last thing we see is her basically doing this and pouring gasoline all over her and setting herself on fire right in front of somebody that was helping her throughout the entire movie. And we see him terrified, and we already know what's going to happen. Eventually the same thing is going to happen to him, and he's going to kill himself with a big disturbing smile on his face in front of some other poor person, and then it's going to repeat itself again and again. So yeah, this is one of the really creepy, crawling, scary movies out there. So definitely, if you easily get scared, I would definitely not turn the lights off for this one. Alright, now the 4K quality. This is obviously in 2160 Ultra HD. And it has a Dolby Atmos sound presentation. Well, the picture. This is a Paramount release, but because of it being a 4K and having HDR10, this is a very HDR10 heavy movie, not really a Dolby Vision one. So you're going to have a lot of those deep blacks and those bright colors in the film. The color grading is very good, but to set the mood of the movie, this is a very warm temperatured movie. So you're not going to have a lot of brightness in this film. It's going to be a much more darker toned, much more warm temp movie versus something bright and lovely to look at. This is going to be more gritty to look at, but it definitely has a lot of very, very, very good 4K aspects to the picture quality. The audio. This is a very effect-heavy audio sound presentation for Dolby Atmos. And it uses Dolby Atmos sound technology to its benefit of really making a very haunting connection with what's visually going on in the film, to the point that the sound is like a character in the film. And that happens a lot in really, really good horror films, where the sound represents kind of like an extension of the characters of the film, and almost in its own way becomes a work of art, and of basically being an artsy character within the presentation of the film, and that's certainly the case with Smile. And like I say, is this film was good. I saw it twice in theaters, and watched it quite a few times at home, and this film does not know how to disappoint. It literally scares the shit out of you when you watch it. If you're not prepared for a film of this magnitude, it will get to you. So I say definitely check this film out. A little trivia for you. This film started out, it's a short film. A short film made by the director, Parker Flynn. A short film that he was trying to make a full movie out of. And the short film is actually on this disc. It's called Laura Hasn't Slept. Laura being, of course, the patient that eventually, after screaming her ass off at the beginning of the film and being all terrified, the doctor's trying to get help and then turns around and sees, obviously, her doing this insanely terrifying, and then taking scissors and doing this, cutting her throat and making a smile for her face and everything. Fucking scary ass shit. At the very beginning of the film, really. Yeah, the terrifying original short film is actually shows you how our patient got the way she was. And yeah, that's actually on this. I'm pretty sure it's only on the 4K, but it might be on the both. It might be. It might be exclusive to the 4K. You can check that out. That's probably in the back of this the snap case. I will say, as a recommendation, I do prefer the 4K version of the film, so I suggest you buy that. It may be like $2 more to buy that version. Definitely avoid a DVD. Go for the Blu-ray or 4K. But if that you guys are fun on doing DVD, then okay. That's all there's to say about Smile. I definitely will say, check it out, and I'll see you next time.